Well, now that I'm middle-aged, I like to be balanced, and our last guest was Justin Short. So we're going to flip it on the long side of things with Mr. Derek Long. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the bald guy in the red tie, Susan Ebert, and Derek Long here under the bright spotlights of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yay!
I've been working on that for a couple days because I was like long, short, long, short.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I am. I didn't even
funny.
think of it.
And it's Derek
good.
Long, so it's D-Long
That's
show.
right. That's right. That was what I
I'm
got
just
called in
gonna
high
be
school.
quiet.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Susan.
Yeah.
We're only 10 seconds into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Don't run it yet.
Yeah. I got that a lot in high school, though.
Oh yeah, did you have some nicknames with that name?
Oh, a few of them, yeah.
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 Have you done anything with your branding?
No, not really. Not
Okay.
just because. Yeah, I don't know. It
Got
didn't
a good
really.
name for it, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's some good stuff you can do with it.
Take the long way home.
True.
I gotta do this all
No.
day.
It's a
Yeah.
song.
All day long.
That even has a theme song to it.
Yeah. Just get the
Yeah.
rights for it, and you're
Take
good.
the
Yeah.
long way home.
No, it's I don't know. I just stuck with my name. I went with that.
Yeah, it's a good
when
name,
I
dude.
first, very first started out though, I came to Susan because I was over at Exit,
Yeah.
just over there, and I saw your stuff. I was like, that's good marketing right there. I need to come up with something. So I started doing research on Derek Long or whatever, and trying to come up with something funny. And me being new, you think you know all this stuff when you know nothing.
Yeah.
And but I ended up going and Google searching my name to see what I could. Well, apparently it's a gay porn star.
Oh.
And I came up with Precision One Team was my name at the time, right? And I was like, and Susan, so why that, Derek? I'm like, I Google searched my name. And yeah, and so anyways, after a while,
It's not what you were selling?
No, it was not what I was selling, and it ended up just not being. The Precision One Team didn't work out, and you rebranded a couple times over the years, but went back to Derek Long. I figured whatever, they're gonna put Realtor in there or something, and it'll work out.
Damn you, Google. Right.
Right?
Ruin things.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's why we got a duck, duck, go.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
Well, you're on the show today. You've made it up through the ranks. You've gone through a couple market cycles. You've gone through a pandemic.
Yeah.
You've gone through brokerage transitioning.
Yep.
And now you're here at Signature Real Estate Group with Susan Ebert,
Yes.
and you're under the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's actually everything's your fault.
Yeah, pretty much everything in real estate has come from
Yeah.
this
Dang
lady right
The
here.
buck stops here,
Yeah.
as the big man would say.
So don't fail, because I'm screwed if you do.
we're not going anywhere. Except for up.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's take it back to square one. How did you get into real estate, and what was your transition process into this wonderful jungle
Yeah,
of business?
it started with back at Exit when Susan was Exit, and I think I was Google searching real estate, like how to get my real estate license. And at the time, you had basically a recruiter. I don't even remember his name anymore, but a recruiter that was doing the real estate classes. And so stopped in there, met that guy, met Susan, and started doing the sign up for the classes and started going through the classes. And by the end of the class, I was like, this is the lady I want to work for. Not like any other lady I've ever met, but she's amazing. And obviously being a Christian and whatnot, and Christian myself, I was like, that was a perfect fit. And I just felt like that's where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she taught me everything I needed to know, and she does things right. That's what I like about it. There's no black or white. Although she talks about walking in the gray, but
walking
As long as
in,
you're
walking in the
towards the light.
shade,
Yeah.
but going toward the light.
But at the end of the day, it is everything is done right, and that's what I like. I don't like playing games or whatnot. It's either right or wrong, and she does it. She wants it right.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So matches up with how I operate.
So your whole career has been under her umbrella.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't that an honor?
Yeah, you didn't get any bad habits.
No.
That's good.
No, it's unfortunate, honestly. Yeah.
Well, except for some of the things I say.
Susanisms.
Yeah, you got to learn how to filter out the Susanisms.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
But they make it entertaining.
Oh, for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
this is fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were you doing before then? Well, first of all, you're how old are you? You said
35.
12.
35.
Yeah.
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 12 going on 35.
12 going on 35. If I shave the beard, I do look 12.
You got the young man face.
Yeah.
He does.
You know, now that I'm 40, I can call anybody under 40 a young man.
That's right.
That's kind of the
Your
level
voice gets
I'm at.
lower, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. I figured this is how 40-year-olds talk. So what did you do before real estate?
So I was in commercial construction doing project management. I worked for a structural steel fabrication company.
Awesome.
And we built buildings. Like we did a lot of work for Starbucks or 24 Hour Fitnesses, just anything construction related to a commercial building, basically. We did some really nice custom homes down on the beach communities.
Nice.
But yeah, I ran basically the whole business side of stuff. I have a bachelor's degree in business, which is what my background is in. And I got that job right out of, while I was still in college, Fishham College. I got that job. The guy taught me how to weld, and then because you kind of have to know how to do what you're going to manage people to do. So started there, took a quick crash course, and moved up. And towards the end, I was basically running the business side of things for him because he liked the construction side of stuff. Grew the company, but I just got tired of it. I mean, did it for 12 years, and I always loved real estate. I wanted to get into real estate. When I graduated college was 2008, and I wasn't as brave as you were diving into that market at that time.
The burning building.
Yes, yeah.
I want to go in there.
I mean, it worked out for you.
Yeah.
But for me, I did sign up to take, not with Susan at that time, but through Allied, I think it was, one of the online courses. And I started to take the classes, but just reading the books, it's very monotonous. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Dry.
Yeah, dry is a very good way to put it. Very dry. And so I didn't end up finishing getting it. And then just looking at it too, I was like, do I want to run into the burning building? You know what I mean? And I had a job. I mean, construction was rough at that time too, but I was getting a paycheck every week.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with that for a while, but I always still wanted to do the real estate. And the main reason for wanting to do real estate is I want to get into real estate investing. My grandpa owned 37 one-bedroom, one-bath units down in San Clemente growing up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
and
awesome.
That was one of the big things about wanting to get into it. And then when I was a kid, I always loved watching like all the different flipping shows. But it goes back to the construction side of things too.
Yes, yeah.
I like construction, but I've always liked real estate. So it's a good fit. Unique set of qualifications.
Did you play with Legos as a kid?
I did.
Yeah.
He built some good stuff that we never built, John.
I never could get one of those packets together. My brain's not like that.
No,
But
Because you have to follow directions.
That's the funny. It literally what we did with the buildings, putting the beams and the columns up. It's like a jumbo, massive size like IKEA set is what I tell people. Like we just have really complex instructions and 4,000 pieces.
Wow.
It's a big puzzle.
And you need
It's a big
cranes
puzzle.
and tractors. Yeah. That's interesting. So are you a California native?
Yeah, I was born in Mission Viejo over in Orange County.
Okay.
And lived there, went to Mission Viejo High School. Lived there my whole life for the most part. And then, met my wife who girlfriend at the time, but she grew up in Glendale, La Cañada area. And so when we got married, I moved up there for a year. And then that was like 2011, 10, 11. And we wanted to buy a place, but even back then when the market had crashed, it was still like $500,000 for a 2-bedroom house with like bars in the window in LA City.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And so I was working, the construction, our office was up in Lake Elsinore. And so I was commuting out this way all the time. And so we decided to buy something out here. So we moved out here in 2012 and bought a house.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want to sell it?
No, I have a lot of equity, but no, I'm going to hold on to it.
You bought it at a good time. I'm sure you already know an agent, so
There's one or two maybe.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you've had that. That's why I like that question, because I like to know, why did people get into this business, and then what was your experience like before then? Because I think that says a lot about what you bring to the table.
For sure.
You know, that construction background. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's helped you in a lot of the transactions you've probably done over the past couple of years. Like, even though it's not commercial,
No.
but
You still have construction.
Yeah, putting things together.
A lot of my clients actually have said that afterwards, their feedback is they're like, we did not realize how important it was to have someone who knew about the in-depth aspects of a home as much as you did. So it's a neat, I've heard that from several people. Because again, it's just, there's certain stuff that I know that a traditional agent wouldn't know because of the in-depth construction background.
That's a huge advantage.
It is.
And I think we were talking a couple weeks ago, and you said you want to now. I mean, you got the residential thing dialed in.
Yeah.
So you want to expand it more into the commercial sales side of things.
That's one thing I'm going to start working on. I've partnered with a guy that is one of the top brokers in Menifee for commercial real estate, and so starting to work on those relationships. It's a whole different beast. As
It's
you
a
guys
whole
know.
nother animal.
It is,
Yep.
yeah. But I mean, I have that background with the commercial, because most of the commercial deals also involve a level of construction or TI or tenant improvement build out, and which is part of the escrow process, at least, because you don't want to buy the building if you can't do what you want to do with it.
Right.
And the conditional use permits for the actual property, like what you're going to use the process for, the city's got to approve it. It's a whole different realm. But I don't know everything, but I have the construction side, and partnering with this guy who's been doing it for, I think, 14 years now. He's going to teach me some of the ins and outs, but between the two of us, we can handle pretty much anything.
Well, I think that's going to be a hotbed over the next 5 to 10 years up here in Menifee for the commercial stuff, because they got the most land right now to develop.
They
but
do.
then also they have a very aggressive vision, I think.
They do. Menifee has an
try to do that.
awesome master plan, actually.
I agree.
I was looking at the other day on an investor forum and whatnot, and some of the projections, and Menifee is actually one of the most sought after cities in the entire state right now, as far as equity for residential. For both, but primarily even residential, just because the master plan and what they have going on and developing, they expect massive equity booms because of what they have planned in their vision for the city.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right in our backyard.
Who would have known you needed a plan?
Yeah.
I have one. I just don't look at it. I don't follow it.
You need a
It'd
master
be a lot cooler
plan.
if I did. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting transitions and transactions happening in the state of California,
For sure.
whether that's on a political sense or a taxation sense, which I guess kind of goes hand in hand. But, we were talking before the show here, and it sounds like you're quite the expert of helping people get out of California and going into different states. How did you kind of fall into that? Because it is a special niche. You got to know what you're doing.
There's some differences there. I mean, the selling of the house, that's the easy part here, but making the whole process a smooth transaction, and that's what's important to me, is just I like helping people. So selling the house is just a piece of it. Like, you actually need to help the people get whatever their goals are. Like, take them from point A to all the way through Z, get them to what their goal was. And so one of our really good friends was one of the first people that moved. They moved to Tennessee like 4 years ago. And so that was where I kind of cut my teeth on the actual moving, and that ended up, I learned a lot in that transaction. Not in a bad way, as far as there were some unique circumstances. Actually, I called you. You probably remember this one. My clients, they were actually selling their house, and the market was not what it is today. Like, you didn't just put your house, have it sold. So it was on the market for a couple weeks. They're trying to buy a home in Tennessee, and they got the home in Tennessee under contract, and so we had one offer come in. That was it, and it was a strong offer, but it was contingent on them selling their house. So they were right in the middle, and everything seemed to be going good, and it was going good until the person buying the very first home decided not to show up to signing loan docs. Do you remember this, Susan?
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember this one?
Yes.
With David Stites?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't
Oh
know if I
my
should say that or
gosh.
not, but
I
yeah.
know
It's
it's
not
okay.
David's
if we
fault.
do
No,
joke
it
about
wasn't.
Yeah.
And he fixed it, but man, that was stressful. And so basically the people backed out and they never showed up. And I'm like, you have to fix this. Because it's a 4-day drive from here to Tennessee, my clients had already left, and all of their stuff is packed up in 4 pods being shipped across the country.
That's not a phone call you like to make.
Oh, no. And so and to make things worse, I call them and I'm all, hey, so-and-so, I got some bad news. She's all, oh no, not more bad news. I'm like, what do you mean more bad news? She's all, I just got rear-ended. I was like, all right.
Bad timing.
It was terrible. And actually Michael Urain was the buyer's agent on that one, and he, by the grace of God, had a buyer who was looking for that exact house. And so he was able to get that buyer. It was an FHA appraisal, so they were able to get that buyer in there and close in 17 days. And I had to beg and plead with the listing agent over in Tennessee and literally give a daily update on the entire thing from that point moving forward. It was just a complete nightmare. But some other interesting things to learn from it about relocating out of state and stuff like that, like those same people had left, and when the husband worked from home, he worked from home, but it was a big company selling canopies out here. And when he got there, they said, sure, that's fine, you can work remote. I mean, you already work remote, he's a sales guy. And they had Kaiser insurance. Well, there are no Kaisers in Tennessee, so they no longer had health insurance. And so when they got out there, they could get it, but it was a large expense that they now had to pay for themselves that they hadn't factored in. So I learned a lot of stuff like that, and which is really, that's what I'm saying, like, you need to take your clients from point A to, and again, they knew I did, they were friends of mine. They didn't, that was my first out-of-state transaction.
Yeah.
Since then, my brothers moved out there. My dad's moved to Tennessee. Had a couple, 2 or 3 different clients moved to Arizona, Washington, Oregon. So yeah, I mean, I've done a lot more, and again, now I know what to look out for. I mean, there's things that you really have to check to help that be a smooth transition.
Would you agree that nobody wants a difficult, nightmarish transaction or situation in a transaction? However, smooth seas don't make for a strong sailor, kind of thing. So it's like in those tough times and in those like, oh my gosh moments, that's when you really learn your contract. You really learn your process.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think it just makes you a better agent, but man, it's
do.
painful going through it.
I know, yeah. I mean, I remember Susan, like at that, I had a couple of unique situations going on some of my first transactions. I think a year and a half into it, she goes, Derek, you're more experienced than a lot of my other agents just because of the transactions that you've had land in your lap. She's like, I don't know where you find these deals, but you're sure learning quick. I mean, yeah.
It's a blessing.
It
Sucks,
is.
but
You
it's a
do
blessing.
love. And I mean, and now when I see other stuff, it's not nearly as bad. But no, I've learned in this industry, you've never seen it all. Like,
No.
you just have not.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always a weird twist to something.
Yeah,
Always a problem to solve.
Yeah.
But he's really good at that.
I try
And
to.
I think the hardest part about when something's going wrong is you actually want to back up and be quiet and hide. But when it's us and we're real estate agents, we have to run toward the fire.
Yeah.
And so that's what he got to learn
Yeah.
early on was, problem, I have to solve it and I have to over communicate so that they feel peaceful about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one of the best lessons an
sure.
agent can learn because so many of them just back out and disappear and then people are lost.
No,
That is such a terrible thing in our industry.
It is. Yeah. You
Yeah.
have to have, and it takes it from both sides. Like, both agents need to have it. Like,
Yes.
the communication is what solves the problems. And
Yeah.
Not screaming at each other
No.
and threatening
Yeah.
lawsuits. Yeah.
no, and like
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I've realized too is with agents. Like the agents, we really need to view ourselves as on the same team.
Yeah.
Like we are on the same team. We need to protect and represent our clients, but we are on the same team to facilitate because both the buyer and the seller want this deal to close. They want it to happen. So our job is to make it happen.
Yeah.
Obviously fulfilling the whatever is written in the contract, but I don't like that where some agents just from the very beginning you're the enemy, not the enemy, but you're the opposition.
I think that's actually a teaching in the industry and it's not something we teach here.
Yeah.
It's like you're supposed to protect that buyer and protect that seller. So they go into a transaction as if it's an enemy situation
Yeah.
Right.
instead of creating an ally and we're all going to the same finish line.
Yeah.
And I learned that real early on.
Yeah.
Was, oh, wow, these people think that that's the right thing to do. But if you don't have allies, like when you know each other, I want to accept your offer.
Oh,
I
for
want to
sure.
work with you. You're going to help me problem solve.
Yep.
We're going to get these people to the finish line.
Absolutely.
And the agents that make it difficult, that's rough.
Nope.
It's rough. But there's a teaching out there like you have a fiduciary duty to protect their interest above your own.
Yeah.
And we do have a fiduciary duty, but not at the expense of squashing a transaction.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, in this
Yeah.
business is, relationships is everything, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just with clients. It's actually with our fellow agents and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
how, buyers, they come and go and sellers, they come and go, but the agents, they come and go, a lot of them. But there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to be going through that same doorway a couple times.
Yeah.
You're like, there's,
Yeah.
You cross paths with the same people.
Yeah.
and people don't forget.
No, they don't.
No.
So if
No,
you
they don't.
burned them bad on a previous deal, yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're
Yeah. Blackballed.
Yes.
you're on a special list.
Yeah.
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 You don't want to be on that list.
Exactly.
No, you don't.
No.
But it is fun to learn all that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And it makes you think and you get creative in your problem solving. So
Yeah.
I don't know, when people do that, I think we just have to, as agents and brokerages, take the opportunity to teach them, let's do this different.
Yeah.
Because they've been taught something wrong. And
Yeah.
and we can fix it.
I think some of it too has to do with egos. I feel like.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
both experienced agents, but also like like new agents, not young, but new agents. I feel like they have
Yes.
something to prove sometimes,
Yeah.
and I understand that. But you know, once you learn that the other way is so much easier,
Yeah.
being on the same team.
Yep.
So do you like to work with buyers or sellers? What's your favorite? Or do you like both?
I like both. I'd work a fair amount with both. It goes through cycles, but
Yeah.
I would say I probably like listings, you know, and sellers better. I really like marketing, just like ball guy right here.
Yeah.
And,
We've always got along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I like the challenging of it. So although right now you don't have to market a home very much,
Right,
but,
right.
but back in the day, we'll
Yeah.
call it,
Huh.
you actually had to like put some strategic effort into marketing the house.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to, but as a good agent, you should.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and even just I like the challenge of it. And so, especially with social media and things like that, there's all these things you can do now versus just putting a sign in the front yard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I personally really like the marketing side of things. So I think that's why I like sellers a little bit more.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to a listing or a seller right now, what would that be? And you have to look in that camera and tell it.
If I had to give advice to a seller right now, it's to price the house competitively and have realistic expectations. I mean, you will net a large amount of money, but if you price it too high, you're actually going to end up with less money.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that you hit on is that pricing strategy is so important. And people go,
huge.
and when sellers don't have that marketing mindset, they go, "Oh, you're just trying to sell my house for less." It's like, well, no, watch.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hold my beer, watch,
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
or my grape juice. But, you know, because if you do it right, there's certain price points in the way that people search and understanding consumer
100%,
behavior and
yeah.
where they're going to be at in the price point. Because people will get approved for one thing, but they shop below that.
Yep.
But then when they find that house, they quickly go back
Back
up to
it,
to that
exactly.
max kind of thing. So you got to know how to play that game.
Exactly, yeah. And it's, I mean, that's, and even, I mean, this market especially, but it's always been the case of that where you have to, yeah, the pricing strategy. And there are several different pricing strategies to go with, but you need to pick one and stick with that strategy. I feel like a lot of agents try to blend some, and it just
Doesn't
work.
bad.
What's
It doesn't
going
work. But I've always liked the idea of pricing it not below value, but at market value right there to generate the interest. And then, because the market will always dictate what the home is worth. I mean, the home doesn't matter. I could price a home at $5 right now. Literally, guess what? Am I going to get an offer for $550 if it's worth $550? Yeah. I mean, that's just what. But I could also price it at $600, and am I still going to end up with an offer at $550 if the home's worth $550?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, or somewhere close to there.
Or probably less because you're going to be chasing down the price.
Because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing price reduction and be on the market for 30 days. But if we price it at not $5, but say 500, right? If we price it below, you end up having maybe 5, 10, 15 offers. I mean, 15 is a lot, but that's coming down now. But even still, if you have 5 options versus 1 option, sure, you're at the same number or close to the same number, but now we have 5 other terms to review and see who's the most qualified. Because that one you get over here might not necessarily make it to the finish line.
Right.
Where this, we've got some options and some negotiating power.
Yeah.
And when a client has options, that's when they have the power. So
Correct.
that's good.
Exactly. And
And your job is to give them the options.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's where I like the strategy of coming in, not way overdoing it and pricing it at the extreme high top end of it, because I'd rather have more options and the numbers are going to come up higher anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people get into the business. They go, "Oh, it looks so easy on TV," but then you get into it, and it's like, okay, you got to do sales, you got to do analysis of comparables and just what's going on. You got to understand the contract, so you got to have some legal background. You have that marketing hat. You got to have a psychologist, counselor, soft touch to it because you know
Yeah,
you
you
get
do.
those calls at 11:30 at night when they're going to Tennessee and they get rear-ended. You're like, you got to have a fine touch. You
For
can't just
sure.
be like, "Not my problem," hang up. You know,
No.
you got to walk them through that
we are
emotionally.
problem solvers.
Yeah.
We are problem solvers. That is our job, is to problem solve
Yep.
and keep the deal together and moving forward.
That's why I usually just stop, collaborate, and listen.
Sounds like a song.
Yeah.
It's just sound advice. Sound advice by a wise philosopher.
Right?
Well, I think we're ready for our round of Susanisms. So, Susan, I'll let
No.
you take the mic.
Well, first, I have a question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, gosh.
Besides 40, where he is.
Yeah. where John is. That's a tough question. I mean, hopefully a lot has changed, honestly. I'm working on a lot of things to try to, one, grow the business, and then two, definitely get into the real estate investing side, get some investment properties going, hopefully be doing some commercial deals more frequently at that point. And then, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what God has in store.
We're going to have more babies?
Who knows? We'll see what God has in store.
The Lord giveth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two is a good number. Right?
No. Okay, so how did you meet your wife?
We met. I met my wife through some two mutual friends. One of my good friends and one of her good friends went to Forest Home, church camp, some church camp in the area, and they met and started dating, and so we met through them. We just happened to be friends of friends. Like, yeah.
How old are you?
21.
Really?
Yeah.
And were you walking with the Lord and making good choices at 21?
Yeah.
I wonder what that feels like.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, I didn't grow up as a Christian. I became a Christian probably in my college years.
That's amazing, because
Yeah.
now it's the opposite.
It is the opposite,
You
yeah.
go to college and that's a no-go.
Yeah. So I went
Yeah.
to Saddleback College at first, and then I ended up going to Vanguard, and which is a small Christian university over in Costa Mesa there. And yeah, my friends, a couple of my really good friends that I'd known for a long time, they were Christians, and they went to church. And I went to Rock Harbor, which is also over in Costa Mesa. That was a church I started going to. And they did a really unique thing where they held church at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, which sounds totally random. But they were going on, and when you're in college, whether it's Monday or Tuesday or Sunday or whatever, like you're a college student, you do whatever, it doesn't really matter. And so, they would go to church at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, and I'd sit at home by myself going, well, so I said, what the heck, I'll go with you guys. And then going enough, I started to realize, well, there's something more to this. I was never a kid that got into trouble, though. I was always like, my life's good. I don't have problems. Well, why do I need to go to church? Who needs God? I mean, my life's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like I was having troubles in my life. And I guess that's kind of the hardest person to reach sometimes, actually, like hindsight now.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate in that regard, I guess you could say. But yeah, so we ended up going to, like I said, Rock Harbor. And the other cool thing is that church service got so big with college students that they actually had to start doing overflow. And so what they ended up doing was renting out a nightclub down the street and having church in the nightclub.
That's awesome.
And it was because
Yes.
people who wouldn't otherwise go because it was an uncomfortable environment. Like most people have been to a nightclub, and I mean they're like a huge Shark Tank and stuff and pool tables. I mean totally random, but they full on set up a huge monitor and stuff and had church there as well as the overflow. And I thought it was brilliant. It goes back to marketing.
Yeah.
And they could not. Like the service just kept growing and growing.
That's
and
when
growing.
you know the Spirit's there.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that's how I got started in.
So you thought she was pretty and you said hi.
Yeah, yep. Thought she was pretty and said hi, and yeah, we hung out a few times. And then at that point in time, I was actually contemplating moving to Idaho. At that point in time as well, and I just started my job in the construction industry as well, and I was living in Mission Viejo, and. That was my friend John. He said this to me when I asked for her number. We were driving away, and he goes, "So let me get this straight, Derek." And we just had left her house. We had gone over to her house, which was up in LA, and he's like, "Let me get this straight, Derek." He's all, "You want to date a girl in LA, work in Lake Elsinore, live in Mission Viejo, and move to Idaho?" I said, "Yep." So good luck with that.
It worked out somehow.
It worked. Yeah, I knocked out 3 of the 4. So I was like, all right, that works.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
so-
you guys went to church together? And
Yeah, I
then
went to church together.
how did you propose?
Did
Did you ask her father first?
Yes, ironically, asked her mother first, actually, because her mother's, she was like the rock in the family. But yeah, I talked to both of her parents first. Absolutely.
And they
And
said
then-
yes?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm joking.
Right. I know, right?
Were you
No,
nervous?
No, because it was really cool because she lived. I mean, but it was 70 miles between my house, her house, and my work. Any which way, it was 70 miles. So I would stay up there and sleep on the couch a lot. And so I actually got to know her family. And there was a lot of times where like she'd have college classes and I'd be hanging out at the house because I just drove 70 miles. I'm not like no other
That's
place
great.
to go. So I actually got to spend a lot of time with her family, which when you're going to marry somebody, like their family is, you're marrying the family.
That's right.
That's
So
huge, yep.
yeah,
That's right.
no, so it was really cool. I couldn't ask for better in-laws. Like they're awesome.
That in itself is a blessing because,
Huge.
you know, in-laws, that relationship is so vital. And so if it's not a healthy thing, then it can really just break marriages, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
if you got an angry mother-in-law on your wife's shoulder and then she talks to her mom, hey, he won't let me watch my Housewives TV. And then she's like, oh, he's an evil man. You got to get out of there. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
No, nothing like that, which is good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
I can hardly wait to be an in-law.
Oh, gosh. Oh, God. You'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
You
I
would be fun.
don't know. I don't know what that's going to
You'd
be
have
like.
to thoroughly vet
yeah,
the dating partner.
we need to vet
But that's
the
awesome,
wives.
man. You've
Yeah.
really, you know, I think the impression I'm getting from this is that you have a very solid foundation.
Yes.
I would say I'm fortunate and lucky in
Yep.
that, but yes, I've been fortunate in where I've landed with stuff.
So how many kids do you have?
Two girls, one 5-year-old and one 3-year-old.
And then one boy, what will his name be?
I hope if we have another one, I hope it's not a boy.
Susan's over here speaking prophecy.
Boy,
She better not be. She better.
boys are awesome.
They are awesome.
Because then they're you when they grow up. There's nothing better than having you guys as a grown-up.
Oh, no, that makes sense. I don't
Yeah.
know. For me, I'm totally content being a girl dad.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't have to buy a whole nother set of toys and stuff
Oh, and
things
dirt
like that.
bikes
And dirt
and
bikes.
broken arms and
And, like,
legs and
Gotta pay for
I've
2
I've
weddings.
always,
and-
yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's what I've always
Saving
said.
money.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I feel like girls are definitely easier when they're younger, but
Mhm.
more of a handful in the teen years. And then I'm probably gonna get backlash for saying this, but whatever. I feel like most people agree. But boys are harder
Edit.
when they're younger. Yeah, boys are. I feel like harder when they're younger, and then slightly easier when they're older. So
It seems when they get to about 13, 14, because I have 3 boys, and their brain just kind of goes down, and then they lose the ability to talk, and so they just go, "Ugh," and they just make grunting noises at you.
and other noises.
Yeah.
And they smell a little.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, you know, you're lucky. It sounds like you have a beautiful family with the daughters there, and
yeah, I love
man
it.
of the house.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, when my kids were reaching that age, I did the warning. Okay, now I want to tell you something. I'm like, do you love mom? And they're like, yeah. And I go, come here, give me a hug and a kiss. Give you a kiss right on the lips, right? And they'll hold your hand where you're going everywhere. And I'm like, guess what's going to happen? I'm like, what? I'm like, pretty soon you're not going to want to do that with me. And they're like, no, I love you, mommy. And I go, and when that happens, it's a magic thing called puberty. And you're gonna
And you don't want to be seen with your
You're
mom.
gonna start having hair in your arms, and you're gonna start having other stuff, and you're gonna go crazy for just a minute, and you're gonna think you don't love me like you do right now. And they're like, no, mom, no. And I said, and when that happens, I'm gonna remind you of this, and you're gonna remember, and you're gonna get through to the other end of it.
Yeah.
So you're smart. You're thinking ahead.
So
Yeah.
how many
That's
times
good.
did you remind him of the conversation?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's been really funny because Nash then sees Zach go through it, and he's like, "Oh, I did that. I so did that, and that's what she did to me too."
Yeah.
Yeah. But having girls, I can't imagine, like the
It's
whole
different.
teaching of how to live life.
Oh,
Like
it's- yeah,
I
it's-
feel pressure. Like you guys need to be good men, and you need to make good choices, and you are the
Mhm.
protector and the provider, and the sole person who is that heart and soul of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to
No, it's
teach
it's
your girls
different.
to make good choices.
Make good choices, and then I feel like, I mean, I can tell even at this young age, like they look up to me for everything I do, and so I
Yes.
think it's more than anything just modeling what to expect,
Yeah.
and set a very high expectation for what they should be looking for. I guess
Yeah.
does that make sense?
That's
No, because they
brilliant.
will.
Brilliant.
They'll do exactly what they see,
They
not
do.
what you say, and then
Yeah.
they'll pick a great man like you.
Yeah, if they
hope
if
so.
they see
Yeah.
daddy beating on mom and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and then it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
that's just what men do to women, so I guess that's okay. And it's
Yeah.
like that's not okay.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you,
What's
you
your-
are that.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do with them on your off time?
Oh gosh, we do all sorts of stuff.
Do you wear a tiara?
Oh yeah, what girl? If you have 2 girls, yeah. I mean, yeah, they'll do that, or they'll say, "Daddy, can we do your makeup?" Sure, have at it, girls. You know, and I mean, in it all, I mean, it's one of those things like if they're having fun and they're smiling,
Yeah.
we're all smiling and laughing, and I look like a clown at the end of it, then it's a good day. You know,
Yeah.
what I
Good
mean?
memories.
Exactly, good memories and stuff, and so yeah, it's you know, I don't know. I feel like you don't have to be that macho man that no makeups for girls. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't wear makeup, but to end up looking, but to let them put hot pink and look like a clown at the end of it, it's funny, you know.
Yeah.
We laugh about it and go on to the next day. I don't know.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
always make sure you check the mirror before you go out to your listing appointments.
Yeah.
You know, we did it, and I forget. This happened probably last week. I did it, and then one of the girls was, "Daddy, can we go on a walk?" And I, sure. And so we ended up going on a walk, and literally I'm sitting at the park, and I went, "Oh no!" I wanted to take a picture, and I texted my wife was home too. I was all, "You let me walk out of the house like this?"
See how far you'd make it?
Yeah, right. Well, we made it to the park and back. Luckily, we didn't see anybody, but
Oh, she
yeah.
loves you.
Yeah.
That was
Again,
awesome.
It's good. You know, you have to laugh. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not laughing, then you're not living life.
Yeah. Favorite food?
Oh, that's a tough one. That would probably either be sushi or like a really good steak.
Me too.
Yeah.
Favorite
Yeah.
dessert?
Ice cream.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Light, dark, pastel, navy?
I just like a normal blue. Like I don't know.
Like blue in the camera?
Yeah, blue in the camera there. Yeah.
Sky blue.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sport?
Probably football, I guess you'd say. I like watching football.
I do too.
I like watching football. Growing up, I played lacrosse, which was a fun sport. Not you don't see it as much out here, but starting to see it more. It was fun.
Favorite team?
Favorite team for football would definitely be the Colts.
Really?
Mhm.
Do you have a jersey?
I don't.
Oh,
But
you
I
gotta
really
get a jersey.
I liked Peyton Manning. Like Peyton Manning with Tony Dungy. They're both good Christian guys, and I think a great pair. So
Yeah.
I just liked that era.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a fan too. Okay, so with girls, like with boys, you do dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And with girls, you do princesses?
Princesses and flowers and whatever. I mean, it's whatever they want. Although my youngest one, she's all about dinosaurs. So
Oh.
we do dinosaurs.
That's awesome.
3? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dinosaur age. Yeah.
And I mean, she loves it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Dinosaurs.
watch Barney?
No. No.
That's kind of like died out, huh?
I
Like a
don't
lot of the
know.
newer kids.
Whatever happened to that?
I don't know.
It got weird.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't think he was weird.
No, I don't know. I mean, they watch. I don't know. They watch all sorts of different stuff, but we try to keep it cartoonish or whatever, light. Or
Yeah.
we definitely watch what, like, keep an eye on what you gotta censor a lot now.
Yeah.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a handful of shows we'll let them watch, but
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Veggie Tales.
Way to go.
Bible Man. No, that one's scary. 321 Penguins. Do you know any of those?
Nope.
They're awesome.
Really?
I think they only come on VHS though.
It might be hard to get that to play these days.
No, they're good little cartoon videos
Okay.
about godly principles.
That's good.
And Veggie Tales, it's all veggies.
Yeah.
Doing
VeggieTales. If I remember correctly, I think VeggieTales is Well, they've watched VeggieTales a few times.
Yeah.
now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
The tomato. I
Yes.
don't remember his name. The
Uh-huh.
tomato
And
Larry.
cucumber.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the
Larry the
cucumber.
tomato. I
Yeah.
don't know why I remember that.
Yeah, you're right. It was Larry though. Bob was it Bob? Wasn't it Bob too?
Oh,
Something.
Bob.
There were some basic
Yeah.
solid names like Frank, George.
Exactly.
That was a good salad
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could give one piece of advice to a young man, 21 years old,
Okay.
what would you give to them?
Oh gosh.
Just a life advice.
Life advice.
Yeah.
I would say my biggest thing to give to a 21-year-old would probably be to start investing and invest very young. Something simple in the stock market, but start putting money into, if you don't understand it, do a mutual fund. I think it's a huge disservice that finances are not taught. And honestly, another thing would be is don't go to college unless you actually have a career plan that you need. Like if you are going to be a doctor, you go to college.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go. But if you want to be a business person, You don't have to have a business degree anymore. It is
No.
easier than ever to start a business, and it's different. Like I went to college, got a business degree, because back then it was different. Social media wasn't around. Things were just totally different. But it is like, if you had an idea or you wanted to create a product, to sell a product, you had to take this idea, sketch it up, take it to some big investment house basically and say, this is my idea. I think it might sell. And if you could sell them, then they would partner with you, and you made no money anyways, but some of them did, but most of them didn't go anywhere. Now you can, get an idea, create it, build it. There's a million different ways you can get it manufactured or built, and then you start selling it. Like that's it. Like you just have to start. You set up an LLC and you start selling it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so simple now, when it did not used to be that way.
Yeah.
So don't take on all this debt just because that's what everybody's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So invest early and really question if you should get a student loan and go to college.
That is
I know
great
it's probably
advice.
very backwards from what a lot of
No,
people
it's
are
great advice because
gonna
it's
say, but
true.
it's
Well,
true.
and we're seeing that generation that really got hammered on go to college and do this
For
kind of
sure.
stuff,
That
and then
was me.
they're $100,000 to $200,000 in student loan debts, and they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fortunate
A lot of them.
and skied it out fairly cheap. I mean, I think I ended up paying probably $20,000 or $30,000 for my school, but I was able to. I worked through most of it, so I was
Yeah.
able to pay most of it off. I think the last bit I had was around $10,000 when I finished, and I had it paid off in, I want to say, maybe a year and a half, because I made it a priority to get it gone.
That's good.
But I have friends who $200,000-$300,000 in debt, and I mean they're fortunate enough that they make good money, but yeah, I mean that's, if you don't know what you're like, even $100,000, if you don't have a solid
Yeah.
income afterwards, that you know what you're doing with a career path,
Mm-hmm.
it makes no sense.
Mhm.
It just, the numbers don't make sense, and they don't teach that, and it really frustrates me.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't let the system raise our kids anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
been totally structured to help them fail,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. You're lucky you escaped.
Yeah, no, I honestly,
You're like
I
right at the
am.
perfect time.
I got fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had smart parents though too.
Yeah.
Where are your mom and dad?
My mom lives here in Menifee, or not Menifee, Winchester,
Uh-huh.
with my stepdad, and then my dad moved. He retired right when COVID hit. Actually, I had listed his house, and literally, we got the appraisal back. That was $15,000 low at the time,
Uh-huh.
and it was that week where we were not essential employees for that 1 week,
Uh-huh.
and I remember telling my dad, "Take it and run. I don't know if we're gonna close this transaction because I might not be able to work the rest of it."
Yeah.
So he retired back right then, and then we did close the transaction, but
Yeah.
he moved to Tennessee. He had already bought a house out there about 6 months prior to that, and my brothers are living out there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm done," and
Brothers and
left.
sisters?
I have one brother that lives in Tennessee, and then I've got a couple step siblings that are up north in Nevada.
Which one's your favorite? No, don't answer that.
We all know. We all know the favorite.
So if you were going to move out of California, where would you go?
Oh, that's a tough question. Probably either Texas or Tennessee, probably. But it's tough because we have really good friends all over the country now. I mean, for different reasons and different stages of life. But I have really good friends in Idaho, really good friends in
Yeah.
Utah, Texas, Tennessee, family and friends in Tennessee. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to decide. Like, if you're leaving here, you're making that life change. Like where.
Yeah.
And my wife and I kind of did it when we came out here. When we came out to Marietta, we knew nobody. Like, it was just like, I had worked out here for a while, and it was a lot cheaper than LA or Orange County. And so but when we moved out here, we literally did not know a single person. And it's tough, like, to start over from scratch, knowing nobody in a new place.
Yeah. You're
So-
brave. It takes courage.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you're just following the Lord, and then it makes it
That's where
easier.
the adventure takes you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I love that part of life
It's fun.
because you don't know where He's going to take you,
That's
but
very
you
true.
got to follow.
So speaking of the Lord and taking you places, I'll ask a kind of dark and morbid question. 'Cause that's what
Yay!
I like. So you make it to 99 years old. You're on your deathbed. You're reviewing your life before you go home with the Lord there and
Yep.
to your new residence,
Yep.
your eternal residence. What do you want that legacy to be, and what is it that you're wanting to build in the next 55 years? And not so much
No, but
business, but I mean, what
Yeah,
is
but
that
just like
imprint
what-
on
yeah,
earth that you left?
imprint on the world that you've left. I think the main thing is there's a Bible verse that, and I should actually have it memorized, but I don't. But the principle of it is that you should leave inheritance to your children's children. And not that money is everything, but I want to build that security for not just my family, but my entire family. Because when you have that and you do that for people, you open up not doors as far as fun, but you can do things that you've never been able, like help people in ways you've never been able to help people.
Right.
Like I would love to be able to, go to the Pastor Tim or whatever and be like, what do you need? Like, what do you need right now? Or which family needs something right now?
Yeah.
And what is it? It's that? Oh, and 10 grand here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's like, it's help. And so to be able to have that and set that up for that's, again, we're supposed to leave inheritance to our children's children. And I think that's something that just stuck with me from from the point I was a Christian, whatever. I don't know.
Is all your family Christians?
No.
No.
Most
Isn't
of
it interesting how those dynamics change, and then you have to navigate a little bit different?
For sure. And my mom and my stepdad became Christians first, and that's when I was in probably junior high and high school, and it was cool because they didn't push it on us. And again, I was also, like I said, the hardest to reach. I wasn't having problems or whatever. But my parents prayed, and I found my way in a different way that they did, but it still all worked out. My brother, same thing. My brother got into some trouble and stuff when high school. He was not. We were quite opposite, but he got into quite a bit of trouble, actually. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting the help he needed and definitely found the Lord and is the same thing. So he's, definitely a Christ follower, raising his family that way and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think we should ask Tim if we can have a bar church.
we should. He needs the space. Just saying.
Oh, let's get
It
that
works.
youth.
It works.
In there.
No, it did. It's a unique thing, but he should try doing it. We should tell him to try even just doing the 9 o'clock. You got to commit to it too, though. He's got to be there 9 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, a little 9 p.m. Never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
God never sleeps, so
Oh,
he's always on.
That's right.
yeah,
Right?
that's true.
It
It's
is.
true.
The best, honestly, those services, 9 p.m. with all college students, the best worship you've ever seen.
Really?
Seriously.
Can you sing?
No. Not at all. Like none.
Oh, aren't you glad it
But-
says to
but-
just make a joyful noise?
Exactly. But you make it joyful. And trust me, like it was so loud you couldn't hear it. I mean, like literally every person in the building would, and we're talking like probably when they had it maxed out, which was most of the time because the overflow was over in the other bar, there's probably, I don't know, 500 to 700 people in the room, somewhere around there.
Wow.
And I mean, like literally people, like they all just sang. I don't know.
Do you guys sing, but sing quiet, or you just lip sync? Like, do you really sing when you go to church?
So I do not have the musical gift or talent. So yeah, I make joyful noises.
Me too.
I do the swaying thing. I don't clap because I can never clap on pattern. Like I'm that guy that throws everybody else off.
That's
kind of
me.
thing. Yeah.
I gotta watch somebody else and follow them.
Oh yeah.
No, I cannot keep rhythm.
Yeah. But I love worship.
Yeah,
But
me
I just, so I try to just be absorbed into it. If that makes sense. Just being in that presence.
Yeah, I'll sing. Like I'll sing the words, but if no one else is singing, it's quiet. It'll be very quiet. Because again, it's about singing the words, you know what I mean, and being present and like just being a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite band?
Not really. When I was in college and stuff, I definitely listened to many different genres of music over the years, but listened to a lot of Christian music. But now usually podcasts and things like that, more self-help type or business-related things.
Yeah.
Is what I listen
Like the
to.
Signature Spotlight series.
Signature Spotlight series, exactly.
Little Cutlass, little Switchfoot.
I listened to those. Casting Crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the one, Jesus Freak one? Who
Toby
sang
Mac.
that? Yeah.
Toby Mac.
Yeah, DC Talk,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you're right. It was DC Talk
Yeah.
before. Toby
Yeah.
Mac was his band later, but yeah.
Yeah. I love that part of
Yeah.
our life. Music. It takes you to a place that you go inside and all your memories come and you relive it.
For sure.
I love it.
Yeah, you hear an old
love it.
song, it brings you back to that era or what was going on in your life.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, we take it for granted because music's all around us, but how beautiful of a gift that is that God gave that to us and instilled that into our human brains, you know, our senses and the smells and the, you know, smells like one of the most powerful memory triggers and stuff like that, but just the gift of music is so beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And,
I like it. I should not sing, though. Out loud.
Do you sing?
Yes.
Good.
you make
should.
noises
I do.
joyfully.
I remember once when I thought I could sing. So I'd sing kind of loud.
Trying to put a little extra into it for Jesus.
Oh, go, Jesus. It wasn't good for the people around me.
And then you got that older church member like, oh, no.
I'm pretty sure it was Nasher Zach that looked up at me with big eyes. Like, what did you just do?
Don't do that anymore. That's awesome.
Mommy, don't do it.
That's awesome.
Oh, I know, but it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Do you have a
It is.
favorite song right now, a worship song?
No, not really.
Yeah, I like all of them too.
Yeah, I mean,
I couldn't pick one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't pick just one.
yeah.
Well, I have to tell you that just as a mom, as a business owner, as a woman of faith, it's been a total honor to watch you grow
Well, thank you.
and see you transition and have your family. And I'm on the outside, you know, looking in, and you come in, and it's like, yay, Derek's here. It's like happiness because I know that the integrity and the faith and the business mind that you have is real.
Well, thank you.
And I can hardly wait for that 5 years to come and have you meet your goals.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I'm here if you need anything. It's
Oh, I
really
know.
an honor to be alongside you in
I
this
appreciate
business.
that.
Truly,
I'm not going
Derek.
anywhere.
I have a lot of high expectations for you.
No
And I
pressure.
have from
No
the
pressure.
beginning
No,
because he
she
was
has.
working.
She
Yeah,
has.
he was working, and I was like, okay, we gotta get done with that job
Yeah.
so we can go do this because you're gonna do well at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
because of the business sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe in you.
that would be fun. I'm excited for the stuff to come here.
Yeah, me
So-
too. You.
Yeah.
Was that your final thoughts?
It is my final thought.
Usually I say final thoughts. So, but hey, but whatever. Hang on.
Sorry, I went
Just
off
got a guy on this
script.
side of the table.
Totally went off script,
That's
just so
all
you know.
good. That's all good.
Do you have final thoughts?
Do you have final thoughts?
I was, but I'm gonna give him the shot first before I do the final thoughts.
No, I mean, I love it here and its signature. I mean, obviously, you as a broker, you can ask for, again, we all call you mom. So
Yeah.
what more can you ask for? That says a million things right there.
Aw.
But no, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes. And even for us as a whole, again, it's not like I haven't been to other brokerages, but I hear what
Yeah.
the horror stories people
Yeah.
come from. And it's like, we are like, I mean, yes, we don't all do business together, but I feel like it is a team here, which is amazing. And,
Yeah.
And thank you for a beautiful office,
Aw.
because it is. We're fortunate to work here.
Don't you love bringing your clients in?
Oh, absolutely.
Because they go, oh wow, this
Whoa,
is
every
nice.
time.
Like it's always a
Every
good
time.
impression.
Yeah, every time.
Never had like, oh, this is where you work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
it's
until they get
always-
to my office, but
No, every time though it is. It's like, wow, this is your office.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's so that's. I mean, I literally mean thank you for building this because
Aw.
it's
Yeah,
something to be proud of.
it is.
it
yeah.
is. God is good all the time.
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Amen.
Yep.
Well, my final thoughts. We've always had, you just meet people and there's just kind of like an instant like fellowship or kinship to it. And, I think the first time that we met is just kind of that spark was there.
Yeah.
And, we've always talked about marketing and the sense of humor and stuff like that. So we're cut from the same cloth and
For sure.
it's been fun to, sometimes you go to the office, you're like, oh, I hope someone's there, and then, it's a smiling face such as yourself. And
Thanks.
It's a
No,
good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It always is.
But I agree with her. I think there's big things ahead of you. And so I think it's going to require a lot of hard work, but I think you're up for the task.
Absolutely.
You got a skill set. You have a way about you that your clients are very lucky and blessed to have.
Thanks.
So I see nothing but success for you. So
Thank you.
go forth and prosper
That's the plan.
and multiply.
Yeah.
Don't know about that part. We'll see.
DJ Derek Jr.
And that's it for this episode of the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with Derek Long, Susan Ebert, John Butler, the ball guy in the red tie, saying, see you in escrow. Bye.
Bye.
You the man.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. See, that was painless.
No, that was fun.